Okay, students, now let us continue parallel lines and its properties. So now let us study the properties of angles formed by two parallel lines and a transversal. Activity: as shown in the figure A, draw two parallel lines and their transversal on a paper. Draw a copy of the figure on another blank sheet using a trace paper as shown in figure B. Color part 1 and part 2 with different colors. Cut out the two parts with a pair of scissors. So you will do this activity at home, but let us see what do we observe. Note that the angles shown by part 1 and part 2 form a linear pair. See, this is a linear pair. Place part 1 and part 2 on each angle in figure A. So, which angles coincide with part 1? Which angles coincide with part 2? So, we see that angle B is congruent to angle D, is congruent to angle F, is congruent to angle H. Why? Because these angles coincide with part 1. Angle A is congruent to angle C, angle C is congruent to angle E, and E is congruent to angle G because these angles coincide with part 2. So from this we can say that angle A is congruent to angle E, angle B is congruent to angle F, angle C is congruent to angle G, angle D is congruent to angle H because these are pairs of corresponding angles. Angle D is congruent to angle F and angle E is congruent to angle C because they are pairs of interior alternate angles. Interior alternate angles. Again, angle A is congruent to angle G and angle B is congruent to angle H. Why? Because these are pairs of exterior alternate angles. So, measure of angle D plus measure angle E. D plus E is equal to 180 degrees and measure angle C plus measure angle F is equal to 180 degrees because they are interior angles. Now the same thing I'll repeat again here. So we get four pairs of corresponding angles. Angle A and angle E. Angle B is congruent to angle F. Angle C is congruent to angle G. And angle D is congruent to angle H. So these are corresponding angles. Similarly, two pairs of interior alternate angles. Angle C and angle E. Angle D and angle F. Interior alternate angles. Next, two pairs of exterior angles are congruent. Angle A and angle G, exterior alternate angles. Angle B and angle H, exterior alternate angles. Next, two pairs of interior angles are supplementary. Two pairs of exterior angles are supplementary. So here, measure angle D plus measure angle E is equal to 180 degrees. Similarly, measure angle C plus measure angle F is equal to 180 degrees. So I hope you have understood this. Now let's discuss when two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, 8 angles are formed. If the measure of one of these angles is given, we can find the measure of the remaining 7 angles. So let's see here what is the property of the corresponding angles. Each pair of corresponding angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal is of congruent angles. So we have seen that this angle and this angle are congruent, this angle and this angle are congruent. Okay, so we get four pairs, again this angle and this angle, this angle and this angle. So now let's see which are the corresponding angles here. AMP is congruent to MNR, this angle and this angle. Next, AMQ is congruent to angle MNS, this angle and this angle, corresponding angles. Similarly, PMN, this angle is congruent to RNB, this angle. Next, another pair, QMN is congruent to angle SNB. So this and this. Next, second property of alternate angles. Each pair of alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal is of congruent angles. So we can say that alternate angles are also congruent. Now, interior alternate angles. PMN. So this angle is congruent to MNS, this angle. So these two angles, interior alternate angles, PMN and MNS, this angle. So these two angles are interior alternate. Next, QMN and MNR. So these two interior alternate angles. Then AMP, exterior alternate angles. AMP is congruent to SNB. So this one and this one. Then AMQ, this angle is congruent to RNB, exterior alternate angles. Third property of interior angles. Each pair of interior angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal is of supplementary angles. So interior angles, they are supplementary, 180 degrees. So PMN, this angle, and MNR, this angle, these together form 180 degrees. Similarly, here also, these two also form 180 degrees. So this is QMN plus MNS is equal to 180 degrees. So you have to learn these properties of the angles, all three angles. Now, solve examples. In the adjoining figure, line AB is parallel to line PQ. Line M is the transversal. Measure angle MNQ. MNQ is given to be 70 degrees. Find measure angle AON. So this angle you have to find out. This angle. Now, method 1. Angle MNQ. MNQ is equal to ONP. This angle. Why? Because they are opposite angles. Their opposite angles are equal. Measure angle AON plus ONP is equal to 180 degrees. Because why? Interior angles. We know that interior angles are supplementary. We have just learned the property. Now, therefore, measure angle AON is equal to 180 degrees minus ONP. ONP, that is 70 degrees. So 180 minus 70, that is 110 degrees. Now the above example can be solved by another method. Now let's see what is that other method. Angle MNQ. MNQ is equal to 70 degrees. Angle NOB is equal to 70 degrees. Why? Property of corresponding angles. We have studied here the property of corresponding angles. They are congruent. Now, measure angle AON plus measure angle NOB is equal to 180. So these two angles are linear pair. So it is 180 or supplementary angles we can say. So AON plus 70 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So measure angle AON is equal to 110. 180 minus 70 is 110. Now, let us go to the second example here. So the second example, in the adjoining figure, line M is parallel to line N. Line L is a transversal. So this is a transversal. If measure angle B, see this measure angle B is going to be x plus 15 degrees. And measure angle E is 2x plus 15 degrees. Find the value of x here. Now, solution. Angle B is congruent to angle F. Why? Because corresponding angles, property of corresponding angles. Therefore, measure angle F is equal to measure angle B will be equal to x plus 15 degrees. Next, measure angle F plus measure angle E is equal to 180 degrees. Because why? Angles in a linear pair. Now, we'll substitute the values in the equation. So, x plus 15 plus 2x plus 15, is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, 3x. 2x plus x is 3x plus 15 plus 15 is 30 is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, 3x is equal to 180 minus 30 degrees, that is equal to 150 degrees. Subtracting 30 from both sides. Therefore, x is equal to 150 upon 3, dividing both sides by 3. 3 5s are 15 and there's 0. So x is equal to 50 degrees. So now I know that when two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, the angles formed in each pair of corresponding angles are congruent, alternate angles are congruent, interior angles are supplementary. So I hope you have followed all these properties. So you have to learn these properties. Okay, we'll stop here.